set and setting, right?
Oh, no.
It's all about set and setting.
After our first contact went so badly, we thought elements from your past might help ease you into the present.
Nothing comforts anxiety like little nostalgia.
Well, what is happening, Matrix fans and movie fans alike? Welcome back to my channel. I am D-WIZZLE, and this is another edition of my live stream. And today, it is Matrix Monday. You guys already know it is Matrix Monday, and finally, we're about to get into this. We are about to talk about the fourth installment of the Matrix saga. We will finally be talking about the Matrix Resurrections that was recently released in theaters and on HBO Max this past weekend, as of this recording, December 22nd. I am very excited to get into this. We've been waiting a long time to get into this. So, for this live stream, as always, this is going to be a spoiler-filled discussion. We are going to talk about every little detail about this movie as if you saw the movie. So, if you have not seen The Matrix Resurrections and want to avoid spoilers, I implore you to go click off this video, go see the movie, and then come back and listen to the live stream. You can come watch the playback. But yeah, that is your warning. You spoilers all ahead. So we're about to get into this. But I am not alone. Finally, somebody has joined me on these damn streams. Just kidding. But joining with me once again from the YouTube channel Compatible Cinema and Gaming, we have Bradley. What is going on?
Yo, what's up?
What is up?
Ready to talk about this film I'm very conflicted on, to if I'm being honest. I don't know how to feel about this movie.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone. Hold on, let me look at the chat real quick. We got Ambassador. He said it should be in shortly. Yes, Ambassador is going to join us really soon, and then yeah, all three of us could discuss this movie. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah. So actually, before we get into Resurrections, I know you were absent for the previous two Matrix streams.
Yes.
So I did want to get your quick thoughts on the Matrix and the Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. First of all, I know you've already seen Animatrix recently.
Yeah.
So tell us, what are your thoughts on it?
I was actually, you know, I was saying the other day on that, I think when we did the first one, I was like, I really want to see the origins of how everything happened. I love backstories. I'm a sucker for backstories. When you put me in a dystopia, a future dystopia, or something like that, I'm really interested in how they construct the backstory and what led up to those moments and every little tiny detail and all that. And I got that in the Animatrix, and I love those two first ones. I'm forgetting the name right now, though. But the first two are great, and I love the entire thing. It was really interesting to watch, to be honest, because I never heard of this. And I mean, I've seen it when I was a kid when I would watch the movies, but I never heard of it. I never really took the time to watch it until now. And I'm glad I did, because I really enjoyed it, and I love the different animation styles as well. And there's a lot of interesting anthology stories throughout the film as well. I think one of my favorite ones is when that lady and that cat and those kids find like this glitch in the Matrix.
Oh, Beyond.
And like, yeah, they can fly and shit. I'm like, that one's really interesting. It's like a little tiny little story within it, and it's a really good story. And yeah, I liked it. And for the second and third movie, I have to say, to be honest, I love Reloaded. I think Reloaded's probably overhated, to be honest. A lot of people shit on it, but there's a lot of cool stuff in that fucking movie. Like when they're flying throughout the hallway and there's all this marble flying everywhere, that scene's so badass, and that I don't care how animated it looks or if it looks like a video game or not, but that courtyard scene is so cool. There's so many badass movies in the second movie. I love that movie. I think it's really really underrated for sure. But the third movie, it lacks. I think it's probably the least best movie out of the original trilogy. But I do think that Revolutions is better than Resurrections, to be honest. I thought it would be the other way around, but I was wrong, sadly. But Revolutions is good. I enjoy Revolutions. Like the Battle of Zion's really fun, and the effects hold up. I was rewatching it recently, and the effects really hold up on the Battle of Zion. And just Harry Lennox as a general is just so badass, so badass. But yeah, I like Revolutions. It's decent, except for that death scene. You know, the worst death scene. It's like 10 minutes long, and I'm like, okay, you found a way to make me hate Trinity, and that was that moment.
You hate Trinity that much because of that scene?
No, just that scene. I'm just like, oh god. I fast forward
totally,
that scene now.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Rewatching it recently, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of silly how she's giving this really long monologue, and
Yeah.
she got impaled numerous places. I think she should die a little quicker. This is getting kind of goofy, but yeah. I personally don't think it's the worst death scene in film, because there's another one in a certain film that I think is just absolutely awful.
Which one?
Do you remember Shrek the Third?
Very slightly, not that
Yeah,
much.
a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people do. But the death scene with Fiona's dad, who turns into a frog, the king.
Yeah.
That death scene was awful. Because first of all, he keeps going in and out of dying. He goes like, "There's something I need to tell you, tell you," and then he dies. And he's like, "Oh, wait, I'm still alive. I gotta tell you something." And he does that 3 times. Like, what the?
Oh my god.
I literally want to throw something at the screen. Like, this is supposed to be a sad moment, and they're treating it and they're playing it up for jokes. It just really angered me.
I forgot about that.
That I think is like one of the worst deaths I've seen in a film. But I totally see what you're saying with Trinity's death for sure.
It's not good.
It's not.
It's not good.
But yeah. So if you guys have been following with the previous 2 streams that I did, you guys know I did enjoy the Animatrix. I also think it's very underrated. More people need to watch it. A lot of people don't know of its existence. If you haven't, it's on HBO Max. Go watch it. It's really good. And then Reloaded and Revolutions, watching them recently, getting ready for Resurrections. I pretty much feel the same as I did before. Like, I don't hate Reloaded and I don't hate Revolutions, but to me, I think they are a significant step down from the first movie. Reloaded, it's entertaining from an action standpoint. There's some really cool set pieces here and there. Like obviously the freeway sequence is great.
That sequence too. Oh my god, they built like a mile of highway, and they had like 70 or 100 cars or something, and they fucking just totally destroyed it. Like, so badass.
It's so great.
So cool.
And then there's like other sequences, like the fight with Neo and the Merovingians minions in that room with all the weapons. That's pretty good. And of course the burly brawl with Smith. It's really entertaining. Until he pulls out the pole, I'm like, okay, nope, I'm done. That's stuff. Then it just starts getting into video game land. Like, I know you say the CGI didn't bother you, but for me, that it literally turned into a PS2 video game cutscene at that point. They turned to balloon people at that point with dang, they had bowling pin sounds. Why? But
I love how they practically filmed that too, and they decided to use more CGI, but it probably looked funny without all the effects.
Yeah. And then but overall, I didn't hate it. It's entertaining, but I felt like the story was all over the place in Reloaded, and it once again just felt like a bridge to get to Revolutions. And
Oh yeah.
Revolutions, uh, it's okay too. I gave both of the movies like the same grade because the quality kind of evens out. um,
Oh yeah.
so I did, yeah, I did appreciate that Revolutions was a little bit more grounded than Reloaded, and there was more stakes. Of course, there was a lot going on with Zion and stuff with Smith taking over the Matrix. So the stakes were there. I just felt like the execution was a little hollow and slow.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
I do agree that the Zion stuff is probably the best part of the movie. The fight in Zion, I think, is really really cool. Um,
You know, I'm not a
I
fan of though, to be honest.
what?
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I cannot stand the Oracle stuff. It's just so boring.
Oh, the Oracle stuff
So
just that
boring.
don't make any sense. It still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah,
The
like
whole time.
you're here. You're saying that I'm here to figure out what choice you're here because you're trying to figure out why you made the choice. What?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
What?
Okay. I did feel bad that the original actress passed away.
Yeah.
During shooting of Reloaded. But I felt like the replacement did a just as good of a job as the original actress. So,
She was good.
um, the one part that I absolutely hated was Neo trapped in the train station. I hated that. Absolutely hated
Oh
that.
yeah, I was with Sadie and the parents. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was so pointless. Like I was
Yeah,
so
it sounds
mad. And
pretty
then
rough.
yeah, and then how that like it's such a huge plot hole. First of all, with I'm trying not to get to a tirade again, but it's like when Trinity is pointing a gun at the Merovingian, be like, "You give me Neo, or we all die right here, right now." Okay, so can you explain to me how did we get from that to the train man taking Trinity to Neo? So how did they set that up exactly? Did Trinity point the gun at the Merovingian the entire time? Did they just did Trinity, Morpheus, and Seraph just trust them? Like, why didn't the Merovingian just betray them while they were about to go get Neo? Why? How? But what? What? How? How? Like that's what it that really made me mad because like that if that's a but I don't know how. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway.
there's some things in the movie.
Like that. And then don't get me started on the giant machine baby. Dex Machina. What the fuck? What's with the giant baby face?
I remember that.
Oh my god. It's just a lot of weird things they were doing in the movie. And I know a lot of people like the fight with Smith and Neo at the end. Like they compare it to Dragon Ball Z. It's flying and they're all in the rain and the storm. It's really cool visuals. I didn't
Cinema.
think it was. It's yeah, close. It's close. But I felt
Epic.
it wasn't. I felt it wasn't Dragon Ball Z enough. Like, yeah, they're flying and stuff,
You know
and
what?
they're
You know what
crashing the
people say?
buildings. Huh?
It's more like Man of Steel, to be honest. But
I mean, yeah, and you know how much I love Man of Steel. A lot of people know how much I love
same,
Man of
yeah.
Steel. But
Very
I just
similar.
felt like I just felt like there could have been more than just flying around and hand-to-hand combat. Like, if you can fly and all this stuff, and this is what I've been questioning throughout the Reloaded and Revolutions. Like, you're this all-powerful being in the Matrix, and you're still resorting to hand-to-hand combat. Like, don't you have other abilities outside of that? You know, and now that Smith is just as powerful as Neo, like you're both still resorting to hand combat. Like, can we see some like other supernatural abilities in that fight? Like,
Yeah,
I
that
don't.
force thing, that force push he does, he barely does that in the original movies. He does like once or twice. That never really does it.
Yeah.
But he does it a lot in the new movie. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, wow, okay.
Right.
There's some interesting decisions they made in this new movie, and I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. And speaking of that, yeah, let's get into Resurrections finally. So, with Resurrections, this is another sequel that I thought would never happen. Nobody expected a Matrix 4 to happen.
Mm.
And for me, I wasn't really that excited going in, because the Wachowskis have been just going through this downward spiral ever since I'm going to say it, ever since the first movie. Like, they have not made a good film since the first Matrix.
I think there's a Netflix show they do that's pretty good. Since 8, and that's like the only good thing they've done since Revolutions. I think. It's the only
I
good
probably
thing.
need to watch it. I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, I think it has 2 seasons, and it got canceled, but they did a movie to resolve the series. I think they wrote it, I think, and produced it, so they were really heavily involved with the show.
Yeah.
What's up, Caden?
Caden, what's up? You're welcome to join too, because I sent the link out to a bunch of people. So if you're welcome to come in if you're able to. But yeah, so I was not excited for this because I haven't thoroughly liked a Wachowski film since the first movie. Cloud Atlas has some really good ideas, but overall it was still kind of a mess. Speed Racer is personally my guilty pleasure, but that movie is also a mess and freaking
Hot
acid
trash.
trip to the senses. Like the visuals in that is like give you an eyesore after a while.
Yeah, I can't stand that movie.
But I personally get a kick out of it because if you watch the original Speed Racer, that's a bad show as well. So
yes,
technically, the Wachowskis put in more effort to make these characters a little bit more three-dimensional, which I guess is not saying a lot.
Yeah, true.
And then one of the worst films of the past decade, Jupiter Ascending.
Facts. I heard it was so bad I didn't bother watching it, and I put it on one day, and I got through about 10 minutes. I was like, "Fuck this movie."
I saw this shit in theaters, thinking
God.
they're gonna come back. This is it. This is the film where the Wachowskis are gonna find their stride again, and then. Yeah, literally 30 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I want to leave. This is so dumb.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. So going into this, I'm like, I have no reason to be excited for this. And then what also gave me pause is that both the Wachowskis weren't coming back to do this. It's just Lana Wachowski is coming back to do this. And I'm like, what? Just one Wachowski? What did Lily do? Lily just looked at the script and was like, she was just done with the Matrix 2, I guess, because I know Warner Brothers were trying to get them to do a whole bunch of sequels for I don't know how many years. So I think there was.
Oh yeah, they made that very clear in this movie.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got another guest coming in. We have Ambassador returning. What's going on, Ambassador?
Hey DL. Hey Bradley. Good to see you both.
Man.
Hey.
Good.
Good to see I've been listening to. You too. I've been listening. Well, I've been watching everything while I was fixing dinner, and as I said on my Christmas Eve stream the other night, the Wachowskis are on Santa's naughty list.
They sure are,
man. They were okay. They're on it for this year. They're on it for next year too. That's just how. Oh man. Okay. How badly Lana botched this movie.
Okay, before we start unloading,
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
I
know y'all are talking about some other stuff too and everything. I don't want to derail you, so go ahead and continue on.
While you're here, actually, because I know you also missed the Reloaded and Revolution stream. Quick thoughts on Reloaded and Revolution. What do you think about those?
I honestly, when I went to see them in theaters back in the early 2000s, I really enjoyed them. I've never not enjoyed them. There are some parts of them that are a little meh, but overall, Matrix Reload and Revolutions, they were good. I mean, I think they could have been streamlined maybe just a little bit here and there, but aside from that, they're entertaining. They've got some good ideas in them in terms of like philosophical discussion and so on, but they're not horrible. They're not Last Jedi level awful or cringy. But I will say this: Lana Wachowski should have left well enough alone.
Yeah,
I'm just
so
gonna say I'm just gonna anyway.
yeah.
That's my thoughts on Reload and Revolutions.
Okay, so yeah, getting back to Resurrections. I know people are waiting for us to talk about it. So yeah, as I said, I didn't really have any reason to be excited for this because of the Wachowskis' track record up until this point, and then also Lana is the only one coming back to the franchise. But I will say the marketing for this movie was actually really, really good, and it kind of upped my excitement slightly. The trailers looked really exciting, and the cast they got for this was pretty cool as well. They got Jessica Henwick, they got Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah, I don't know, it just really looked fascinating, and of course, Jada Pinkett Smith as well. So I thought, really, that's a really cool cast. It looks like looks like okay, I know I didn't learn my lesson from Uranus Expanding, aka Jupiter Ascending, but this one I was like, maybe the Wachowskis finally found their stride again. They're back with this. So I did decide to watch this on HBO Max because even though my excitement was up a little bit from the marketing, I still was very apprehensive. So I didn't want to pay money for this just in case it didn't end up as good as I wanted it to be. So I did watch this on HBO Max. And
As did I.
yeah. Did you watch this on HBO Max, Bradley?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was really I was gonna go to a screening that William was throwing, but I couldn't make it. So I was like, you know what? I'm okay with watching this at home and not
Yeah.
paying money for it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. How many times have you watched it?
I've only watched it once because I have to get through The Witcher, but I am planning on watching it a second time because I am conflicted on some things, and I don't know. Maybe a second rewatch will do that some good.
Okay. What about you, Ambassador? I'm guessing you only saw it once because of the reaction I'm getting from you already.
Yeah, I watched it once. I actually fast forwarded through Trinity's Rescue because I pretty much knew how that was going to go. And I fast forwarded to the part where they were at the analyst's house. And yes, I know he's called the analyst, but I call him the analyst because he is so freaking anal. The only moment
Reserve your thoughts. Reserve your thoughts, Ambassador.
Sorry. Yes.
It's okay. All right. So let me just get into this. I watched this.
Sure. Go ahead.
I watched this. Yeah, I watched this 3 times.
Damn.
I did. Because the first time, like you, Bradley, I was really apprehensive and I didn't get a lot of things. So I really wanted to take in the story, and I really wanted to, give Lana a chance and try to actually figure out what she's trying to do with this movie. But after my third watch, I have to say, I'm still really conflicted on this movie. This is definitely not a home run for the Wachowskis, for Lana. They did not knock this out of the park. This movie is it's a mess. This movie's a mess. Do I think this is awful? No. And like there's certain things in this movie, concept wise and character wise, story wise, that I think is a little bit more interesting than Reloaded and Revolutions. But it does not touch the first movie at all.
No,
It doesn't.
never.
And I'm really conflicted if I do enjoy this more than Reload and Revolutions. And like I'm still not crazy about Reload and Revolutions, but like this is like I'm like I don't know. I don't know what I was really struggling with this film, man. There's a lot of things that I liked about it, but as far as execution wise, it was all over the place for me. But yeah, that's my general thoughts on Resurrections. Bradley, what did you think about with overall?
To be honest, like I was honestly looking forward to this movie. Like the first trailer, I was like, eh. The second trailer really got me. It really hooked me. I was like, oh shit, I can't wait for this movie now. And I watched it on HBO Max. I was like, okay, I'm expecting a lot for this movie. I'm not gonna lie, I had high expectations for this movie because if you're gonna come off of, like you said, after Revolutions, their career has been pretty rocky. They have made some of the worst movies probably in the past decade. I would say their contribution to cinema has been The Matrix, pretty much. And I feel bad. I like the reasoning why she decides to make the movie, and it kind of makes me sad that she almost didn't finish it. But it also kind of makes me happy that we actually got to see it and actually got to finish it, even though it is mediocre at best. But the reasons why she made the movie are very personal, and I like that. But I don't know. There's some things in this movie that I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like those weird Disney machines. Like,
Oh my god.
what the hell was that? Keanu, I gotta say, because I said this in my review like last week, I think. Keanu, this was not his best performance as Neo. I think this was his worst as Neo, to be honest. I know he cares about the Matrix and the character, but this just seemed like, hey, I'm getting a cash. I'm getting a check. That's what it seemed to me. But overall, it got a 7 for me. I'm predicting that when I see it again, it'll get a lower rank, to be honest. But it's a mess. I agree. It's a mess of a movie. I didn't know where it was going, and then where it went. I was like, that's it. Like this whole movie was to get Neo to basically get Neo back to
To
the
Trinity.
new
One
city.
status.
Yeah, the new city. I forgot what it was called.
Io.
Io.
And then to get Trinity back, and then they fail to get Trinity back, and then they go back to get Trinity, and they get her back, and then the movie ends. It's like, what the actual fuck?
And
That
that's
was
not
it.
being facetious. The movie literally ends after that.
Yeah, it's like two and a half hours for that, and I'm just like, are you serious? And then like, what does this movie set up a sequel, or does it not? Like, what are you trying to say here? Like, what are we doing? But yeah, it was weird.
All right, Ambassador, let it out. What did you think about The Matrix Resurrections?
Well, I won't repeat aloud what I put in the private chat, but you can all see what I put in the private chat because I don't want to potentially offend anyone. But that's kind of my thoughts, in part at least. Honestly, I can tell you succinctly what I enjoyed about this film. I did enjoy learning what happened in the aftermath of the Battle of Zion. I did like the idea that another city was built, and that it was a city that was created by both humans and machines and AI. I did like the design of the machines. I can understand where y'all might say those are kind of Disney-fied. I get that, but I think to kind of differentiate between the more hostile and militant machines and the more um, peaceable machines, they decided to go with that particular track, and I did appreciate the design of the more peaceable machines. Unfortunately, that's pretty much where that's pretty much all that I enjoyed in this. I thought the some of the philosophical discussion was rather rudimentary. It was actually a repeat of what had already been done in the previous films. The action was pretty much copy, rinse, copy and repeat, copy, paste, repeat. I found the callback clips anytime somebody said a quote from one of the previous films to be rather jarring. And I found the one particular scene between New Smith and Neo talking about Warner Brothers wanting to do a new bunch of games within the Matrix to be overly, and I mean this very much so, overly meta. As you said, DL, the marketing for the film was actually very good. The trailers were very, very well done. And unfortunately, this is an instance where the trailers are better than the movie itself. I mean, I'm kind of glad the trailers do exist because it kind of brings Jefferson Airplane back into the public consciousness as a band, because I love that band. Um, Obviously, they're very 60s rock and everything, very much counterculture, considering that they were part of the counterculture movement from the 60s. They were very hippie in their sound in terms of the music that they made and so on. But aside from that, honestly, um, the movie was just completely unnecessary. I don't hate
Yeah.
it, but I felt like my time was wasted, and I don't like having my time wasted.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry to be a downer, but that's what I think.
I mean, hey, you're not the only one. It's not getting favorable reviews right now. Actually, on Rotten Tomatoes, it still kind of has a decent rating. I think it's still in like the low 70s or high 60s right now. But most people I'm
Sorry.
hearing, it's okay. But most people I'm hearing when they with the reviews I'm watching online, a lot of people do not like this. But yeah, so I want to start with the stuff that I did like before we tear this thing apart. But yeah, there is, like I said, there is a good amount of things that I do like about this movie. Me personally, um, I actually liked how meta it was in the first quarter of the movie. I liked how self-aware it was because I feel like those themes could play off really well in the world of the Matrix, because it does have the similar themes of you not realizing you are in a world within a world. So I think it's really fascinating that in this Matrix, like they make it so like the three previous films were video games that Neo created in the Matrix when he's just Thomas Anderson. I think that's actually very, very interesting. Um, I'm with you though. I didn't really care for them cutting to different shots of the old movie whenever they do references with the dialogue and stuff like that, or certain shots they want to mimic. They would show shots from older movies. That was really heavy-handed. I didn't need that at all. But yeah, I personally thought that was very interesting. What did you think about the meta stuff, Bradley?
First, like you said, the first 30 minutes, I was like, I really like this. Like, it makes so much sense that Thomas Anderson would make a video game of the Matrix. Like, come on. Like, there's a video game of the Matrix inside the Matrix. That is so meta. And I love the modernness of it too. I liked all the statues and figurines he had of the Sentinels and shit. I thought that was really cool. Um, but throughout the movie, I was like, okay, now this is just like thrown in here. Like when the Merovingian comes back, I was looking forward to seeing him because I love his character. But when he comes back and he was like, sequels, reboot, franchise, and I was like, what the actual hell is that line? Like,
There was a
what's
bunch
going
of
on?
dialogue. Yeah, there was a bunch of dialogue in this movie that's like making fun of reboots, sequels, and stuff like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, dude, we get it. We get it.
Like, we get it. You didn't want to do this movie.
Right. And then it's like you're not even living up to the sequels and reboots that you're making fun of. You're not being better than them. So it's
mocking
like,
them, thinking you are better than them. That's what they're trying to do.
yeah, one of the main rules of filmmaking, if you're going to make fun of franchises, then don't be on the same level as them. Bring something new, because making fun of them doesn't make you a better film. You got to bring something new to the table if you're going to make fun of what came before. I'm just saying.
Facts.
But yeah, so I did like that. I guess I personally liked Neil's performance more than you did, because me coming off of Reloaded and Revolutions are like really fresh in my head, and I've seen the performance from Neil there, and I personally wasn't crazy about his performance in Reload and Revolutions, so I felt like there were certain parts where he was trying a little bit harder. However, I do see what you're saying, because like there are certain lines that he was giving where it felt like he was struggling. There was a couple like pauses or something, or it felt like he was reading off a teleprompter a couple of moments. So I don't know, but it felt in line with what he was doing mostly from the previous two movies. It's definitely not on the level of the first film, but I don't know. I guess I wasn't as bothered by Neo's performance, but I did feel like something was kind of off. And I felt like that was the vibe they were trying to give with all the meta stuff, like him acting kind of off or kind of slow. So I thought that was kind of the theme they were trying to do with the movie. I might be thinking I might be giving Lana too much credit, but I don't know. It's just personally how I felt. I really liked Jessica Henwick in this movie as Bugs. I thought she was really good. I don't know. I just felt like I guess there's not too much to say about her because we don't get a lot of development with her. But I don't know. I just felt like she was I thought her personality was really interesting, and I liked that she was the captain of her own ship and stuff like that. She had some decent action sequences. Yeah, Bugs is cool. Okay.
No callback to the Nebuchadnezzar though.
No, I mean I wasn't really expecting that. Like, how could they do a callback to that?
No,
It's
they
like
really couldn't.
they could have said something.
Well, they could have when they're in the I can't even pronounce the name of the blasted ship. The one that Bugs commands. They could have had like when they walk past the ship's core, they could have had him see like a vision of or had a clip of when they walk past the Nebuchadnezzar's core. And hell, I was almost half expecting them when she's introducing her crew for them to intercut clips of when Morpheus introduces the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar to Neo for the first time. Anyway, sorry, D, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Honestly, they've done so many like callbacks and clips up until that point. I was like, I don't need any more. Like, I mean, it would have been nice to have a little callback to Nebuchadnezzar, but it's like it was so hand-fisted at that point. I'm like, please don't do that again. Please no more.
My favorite callback was when he said the line. He was like, "I still know kung fu."
I still know kung fu. Yeah, that was good. That was still good. Okay, so Yahya Abdul-Mateen, I really liked him in this movie.
Ugh.
But there's an asterisk. But I didn't like that they made him Morpheus. I didn't
he was
like
terrible.
it. Yeah, like if he was a different character, I probably would have liked him a lot more. But they're making us believe that he is another reincarnation of Morpheus, and he doesn't feel like Morpheus at all.
No, honestly, Bugs felt like a combination of Trinity and Morpheus, and just a smattering of the Oracle. Honestly, even though I know they had Sati, the little girl all grown up now, or the program, and that's the thing that really I was a head scratcher. How in the hell does a program actually grow up? That makes no literal actual sense. How does a now I can understand a human being growing old or growing up, but how does a program grow up? What did she do? Get an upgrade from her mom and dad before they got erased by the analyst? And yes, I'm going to be calling him that throughout this review, the analyst, because Neil Patrick's his character was a complete and total douchebag. I'm like, okay. I will say this: whenever Trinity would hurt him, I would laugh. But that was about the only time during the whole damn movie that I did laugh. But yeah, explain this to me. How does a program grow up? This makes no sense. We're human beings. We're carbon-based life forms. We're carbon-based life forms. We grow. We grow up. We grow old. We eventually die. But a program doesn't grow up.
Maybe when the Matrix was rebooted, they got upgrades, just like how Smith got upgraded in the movie, or I don't know if you call it that.
No. Okay, and I'm gonna say this, and I said this the other night. I hate New Smith like I hate New Coke, and I grew up in the '80s, and I hated New Coke.
Mm.
Both of you are too young to remember New Coke. You weren't even alive in the 80s yet, so damn.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Be glad. Be glad. Be glad you didn't grow up in the 80s. Although, well, in that particular instance, be glad because New Coke sucked, just like New Smith sucked. I'm sorry, New Smith was like, yeah, that guy. He was like Smith with 50% of the charisma and charm and sinisterness of the original Smith. Like I said, just like New Coke. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. I mean, yeah, speaking of Smith, like I did like the actor. I did think he was giving a good performance, but once again, if he wasn't Smith, I would like him a lot more. Like it's same thing with Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Do we really need replacements for Morpheus and Smith? No, we don't. Honestly, Smith didn't really need to be in this movie.
No. And then what's really weird about Smith is he's like when you first see him, I'm like, okay, he's obviously playing Smith, and then he's like, oh, I'm sort of on your side, but then we're gonna have this big fight, and then in the middle of the movie, I'm gonna be on your side, and like totally tone change what my character was doing in the beginning of the fucking movie, which was weird. It's like, what's going on? Why is Smith a good guy now? Smith would never do that.
I don't know.
Why?
Okay, so Ambassador already brought him up. Neil Patrick Harris as the analyst.
Analyst.
Okay, so sure.
Sorry.
But I personally liked him. I thought he was good. I personally liked him a little bit better when he was, pretending to be the therapist. When it's revealed that he's like the bad guy in the movie and he starts getting all over the top, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, let's tone it down a little bit, Neil Patrick Harris. But I thought he was interesting up until that point, and he had the potential to be a really cool villain. I like the glasses, the blue glasses. I mean, is it on the nose? Absolutely. But I don't know, I thought that was a nice little touch. I like that he also had a cat named Deja Vu. That's
Yeah,
a
I like
nice
that.
little throwback. Um, I did like Bug's crew, even though we don't get a lot of development from them either. Like Seek, their operator, I thought he was pretty cool. I liked that they added that they can project themselves in the Matrix and help them out, so they don't have to find a phone or anything. Like he can always
Oh,
sync
that's
in and to where to go, and then also they don't need to go to phones to get out of the Matrix. He just needs to hack a mirror, and then they just go through the mirror, and then they could get back to the real world. So I thought that was cool.
I like that they go through mirrors now, and I like that callback when she's like talking to Neo, when Bugs is talking to Neo, and she's like, "We don't have to use phone booths anymore." I'm like, that's funny. I like
That's
that.
funny. Yeah, Matrix of the 21st century. Yeah, I like that. I liked Niobe. I thought it was cool that they made her older. It was kind of jarring to see Jada Pinkett Smith in old makeup because she doesn't look old at all. She's in her 50s and she still looks awesome. But I thought she played off being a really old lady pretty well. I did not expect for them to bring. Yeah, I did not expect for them to bring her back. Kind of happy that they did. I actually liked that there were good machines that were working for they were working with the humans, because that was some of the themes that they were exploring in the Animatrix, like with Matriculated and stuff like that. So I like that those things carried on in this film, and I like that they figured out a way to have the good programs interact in the real world. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and then Io, I wish we had more. I wish we saw more of Io, but I thought that was kind of interesting as well. How they found a new civilization. They're actually able to make organic food. Um, that was a nice element they added. Um, Trinity, Carrie Ann Moss, I thought she was great as well. Um, I don't know if I say it's better than. I think I'm gonna say this a lot. I don't think it's better than her performance in the first movie, obviously. I do think it's better than Revolutions. It might be on the same level with Reloaded,
Nah,
in my opinion. Like, I mean,
nah.
I know how much you love Reloaded, man, but like, it's kind of simple. It's kind of simple.
Okay, I will.
Reload's better.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. One of her best lines in the whole dang trilogy. In 15 minutes, I'm going to tear this whole GD building down. I'm like, yeah, you can
Yeah,
do
that
it,
was a good
baby.
Yeah.
You can. When she comes in on that motorcycle and she crashes into that gatehouse and then just smacks people with a helmet, I'm like, damn, kick some ass, Trinity. And this one, I'm like, really? She's a
She's,
van mom.
she's barely in the movie.
She
And then
Yeah.
she's the one now. Like, what is that? What is
well,
that
they're
about?
Yeah,
they're
she
both
has
they're
one
both
powers.
well
And you know what?
both do technically. They both do.
Yeah, they both do. Yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? I just found this out. I never knew this, and it's so obvious. I felt stupid when I found out, but I never knew that Neo was an anagram for one until like yesterday.
I'm sorry,
See,
Bradley.
like-
I'm not laughing at
Yeah.
you. I'm not
You're
laughing
actually
at
not
you.
the only one. Yeah, you're actually not the only one because a couple of my friends, you guys have seen them on the channel. Cree and Evan. Cree actually, my friend Cree actually didn't know that either. She told me that after they watched Resurrections the other day. It's like I didn't realize that Neo was an anagram for one. I'm like, yeah, how did you guys not know that?
Just like
Oh.
Kung Lao and Liu. I think Kung Lao and Liu Kang is anagram for the same name. I think one of those
Maybe.
characters. I'm forgetting one name.
See, ahead of its time. But I
What,
don't know.
Mortal
I mean,
Kombat? Well, yeah, of course.
oh yeah, that too, obviously. Okay, so I mean, I do guys see what you guys are saying. Like she wasn't really able to do that much in the movie. She wasn't in it that much. I guess it didn't bother me because the whole plot of the movie was trying to get her out of the Matrix. But and of course she's older now. She's not like in the same shape as Keanu Reeves, so she can't just jump into action like he can. So it's like I gave her
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt.
She's not Joanne Wick.
No. But
Although she was, hey, if she ever had a cameo in John Wick, I'd be like, right on. I can handle that.
They got Lawrence Fishburne in there. Get her in there.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Put her in John Wick number 5. Have them have a badass fight scene there, get back in shape and everything, and choreograph a really good fight scene between Keanu and Carrie Ann. That'd be awesome. I'd pay more than that for that.
But yeah, so is that the extent of my positives? Yep, I think so. Okay, so
You had a lot more than I think both of you had a lot more than me.
Okay, so as I said before, while I did like how meta it was being in the first core of the movie, when it started to transition into okay, now we're about to be a Matrix film, it was so uninspired. It was so bland. Like, yeah, I gave Reloaded and Revolution some crap plot wise, but you felt more of the passion and the craftsmanship from Wachowski's. Like they were actually trying to be more innovative in those films from a direction standpoint. This felt like a generic action film that has the Matrix, branding on it.
Pretty much.
Like from the action to the cinematography to the just didn't feel like the same director. Directors. I just like I don't. This felt like an indie film half the time because of like how it was directed. specifically the action sequences. Like, if you guys remember in the previous 3 movies, like the Wachowskis didn't do a lot of quick cuts and shaky cam. Like all the fight scenes were in frame. He let the shot like sit, and you actually see the choreography on display. But in this movie, there were so many quick cuts and close-ups and shaky cam. I'm like, what are we doing? I thought we were above this. I don't. What are we doing here?
And
As
now, DL, you have a small measure of the pain that I felt when I went to see the Rise of Skywalker.
I mean, you guys know I'm one of the defenders of the Rise of Skywalker, but like the action scenes in that were better
We cannot be
than
friends
this.
anymore.
Sorry to disappoint you, but
No, it's okay, DL. I'm joking.
but yeah, I thought the action scenes in Rise of Skywalker were a little bit more entertaining than this. I mean, okay, so let me say from this standpoint, if I'm not looking at this as a Matrix film, I think the action sequences are perfectly fine. They're entertaining enough. I think people will have a good time if they didn't have if this wasn't a Matrix film. You know, if that wasn't in my brain, I'd be like, okay, this is decent action. It's fine. But the fact that it is a Matrix film and you have to follow up what came before, this felt like a significant step backwards. I don't remember any like huge set pieces or really cool shots in this film. Like I'm having a hard time being like, "Oh, that was really really good," or "Oh, wow, yeah, this is almost like Bullet Time or the Burly Brawl or something like that." There's nothing like that in this movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been talking. You guys have any thoughts on the cinematography, the action, any of that?
There's some shots that I don't mind that are actually pretty good, but overall it was lackluster. Like I said, in the beginning, I think Revolutions is way better. Definitely, the cinematography in Revolutions is 10 times better than in this movie. It's very lackluster.
Personally, I was so taken out by all of the overly meta stuff that the cinematography didn't even register in my mind. I'm just like, yeah, this is a Matrix film. Everything's got kind of a green tint to it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, they're
I didn't really
doing
see the green tint, which I kind of missed.
I don't remember the green tint either.
I'm being a little facetious. There wasn't actually a green tint for this film. There honestly, there really wasn't. Honestly, I don't know. Have either one of you ever heard of a film with Clive Owen called Shoot 'Em Up?
No, I haven't heard of it. No.
Mm-hmm.
It is a really cool callback to like some of the 80s and 90s action tropes and so on. It is a really interesting movie. It's a really simple premise movie. It's very straightforward. I would say honestly, the fight choreography and the gunplay choreography and the cinematography for that was leaps and bounds better and a lot more remarkable than Resurrections. You know, I don't just, I tried to take in a movie, but here's the funny thing. As I was watching this last week, the missus would come out periodically, would check on me periodically. And she's like, "Honey, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, she's like, "You've been awful quiet and everything." She's like, "I thought you'd fallen asleep." I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I'm just watching Matrix Resurrection." She's like, "Is it that bad?" I'm like, it doesn't make me angry. I'm just very, very disappointed. If I was like a parent and Matrix Resurrections was a child, I would look at it and go, I'm not mad at you. I'm just very, very, very disappointed, and just walk away, and let the child sit there for a few minutes and think about why I could potentially be disappointed. This I'm kind of at a loss for words because to say it's bad is just it isn't necessarily bad, it's just it's mediocre. It's middle of the road. It doesn't take any real risks. I mean, I'll say this. Y'all brought up the Merovingian a few minutes ago. I was like, who the hell are you and what kind of drugs? Yeah, what kind of drugs did they give you to portray this part, or not necessarily portray this part, but the character itself, the Merovingian, used to be cool and suave and debonair, and you used to cuss in French, and now you're just a greasy, dirty, slimy, homeless person that just rambles like a maniac staying on a corner that's smoked too much crystal meth.
Yeah, like that. I'm sorry.
I'm just
that
like, what
Merovingian thing
the
was,
actual hell?
that was awful. That was just
I,
awful.
I wanted to take the Merovingian and give him like a sedative and just take him to a shelter or to a kind of a cheap hotel and say, go take a shower and I'll get you a suit of clothes and you don't have to look like a greasy hippie and a greasy homeless person anymore. I actually
Yeah,
I felt kind of bad for the Merovingian. And where the hell is Persephone?
yeah.
I mean,
Where is
okay,
Persephone?
where is Persephone? I mean, Monica Bellucci, hubba. She's got some nice Volvos and a pretty darn good Voom, and she's not even in this thing. Oh, and speaking of which,
Yeah.
Monica Bellucci actually was in that movie I just mentioned, Shoot 'Em Up. So, a little bit of
Oh.
incentive.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Now, there are some even though, yeah, the Merovingian thing was really bad. There is some interesting questions that they bring up, like how did he get to that point? Why does he look so bad? What happened to Monica Bellucci's character? Did the machines get rid of him? Like, I don't know. They did allude that he lost all his fame and his his status. So I would want to know those details. How did he get into this rut? Because they do allude that the Merovingian and Smith, lost a lot of things ever since the reset from the analyst. So I would want to know a little bit more from that. But like Lily, it just felt like they put him in here for fan service.
Yep,
Like,
that's fan service done badly.
yeah.
You know how much we freaked out when we were talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife a few weeks ago, and how that was fan service done right. This was fan service done completely and utterly dirty and wrong, and I just feel bad for fan service. I just want to go fan service. It'll be okay. There are other movies out there that do you right, kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home. That's fan service done right.
Yeah. So this
That's
is the
fan
Force
service done
Awakens.
exceptionally well.
Exactly.
Oh.
So this is the Force Awakens if it went wrong, pretty much. So yeah. If you're going to be really meta and make fun of the franchise that you're in, then you should be trying to be doing something that's innovative. Do something different. As I said before, like the joke can only go so far, but if you're just going to be another generic cash grab, like the joke just falls flat. And then, even though yes, there are some interesting ideas that they bring to the table by the time they actually go into the real world and stuff like that, it just felt thrown together, because we don't get to know the new characters that much. We don't get to know the new human world, Io. We don't get to know that much. And then there's a lot of other questions looming in the air, like what happened to Morpheus? Like, oh, okay, they say he died in between Revolutions.
Yeah, he died in the MMO game that they did a few years ago.
Okay, so let me talk about that real quick. Because I feel like this was one of the biggest mistakes that the Wachowski has done with the franchise. They are filling in gaps with the timeline and continuity, important plot points they are putting in video games. And they're not taking into account that everyone is not going to play the video game. And there are some really important plot points that they put in not only Matrix Online, but Enter the Matrix and even the Path of Neo and stuff like that. That if you haven't seen any of that, there will be some stuff in the other movies that where you'll be lost. And once again, there's a good amount of people that have not played Matrix Online. And so they're going into this movie being like, "What the fuck? Why is Lawrence Fishburne not back? Why is Morpheus dead?" And it's not like Lawrence Fishburne didn't want to come back. He did. They just never asked him to. But if they're going to be tying in yeah, it's really stupid. But if they did want to tie in the Matrix Online stuff, they didn't make it clear enough that people need to play the games in order to understand the story, even though that's already bullshit. But like that's one of the biggest problems with this franchise, like putting in all the gaps with the video games. No, it needs to be in the movies. The important stuff needs to be in the movies.
Kind of like with Rise of Skywalker.
That Fortnite shit, yes. That was so dumb.
Okay. Just to give you all some context, this movie will have been out a week on Wednesday.
What's up, DC?
As of right now, worldwide box office 66 million.
Oh, that's a bomb.
It. It's going. I can tell you right now. Second week, it is going to absolutely tank. Its domestic opening was only $12 million.
Poor thing went up against No Way Home. It had no chance.
It had absolutely. This was, people have been saying this was the worst possible time to release this film. They could have released this any other time. They should have released it back in November, maybe, but no, they had to go with a December release.
I think they literally did that so they can do that, so they can have that clever little date thing for the marketing, 12, 21, 21. I'm like, come on, guys.
Okay. Just to give you all some further context, as of, today, No Way Home domestic box office alone on its own, $470,356,855.
So that's the box office right now.
That's just the domestic for No Way Home. Now it has crossed $1 billion. It's at $1,557,456,855. So, yeah. Warner Brothers is going to take a bath on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jessica, I think the budget for Resurrections is like, I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but it looks like it's like around $190 million.
This was $190 million?
I think
so. Are you freaking kidding me?
I could be wrong because like there hasn't been like a official thing, but we're going around. It's at least around 100.
Let me be your researcher. Let's see. Production budget.
But yeah, let me see.
No, that's not what I. Hang on. Oh, here we go. What was the budget for Matrix 4? Yep, you're right on 190 million.
And this doesn't even look like a $190 million movie. Like, where'd the budget go to?
That is a very good question. And hey, DC Talk, good to see you, man.
Yeah, DC Talk in the comments. What's up?
What's up, man?
Said hi to Bradley as well.
Yo.
Yeah, this was. They spent $190 million on this, and this is what we got.
Yeah,
Warner
man,
Brothers, you
is
got screwed. And you
seriously
didn't even get you didn't even get dinner first.
like, did they really think this was gonna make bank because it has the Matrix on because it's called the
I think
Matrix?
maybe. Look, here's the thing. The Matrix, it had its day. It had its time, and it was good for what it was. It's not the greatest franchise in the world, but it's got a decent following. It's got a decent fan base. Hi, I'm part of that fan base. I like the Matrix films and the Animatrix. But to wait all this time and bring out a movie like this, and not only that, to bring out a movie at the time that they did, to go up against one of the biggest comic book movies, one of the most anticipated comic book movies, was just a colossal blunder. It's just across the board. The movie is bad. The release is bad. The only thing they had going good for it was the marketing. I mean, I understand you guys had some parts of the movie that you liked, and there are some parts of the movie that I liked too, but overall, it's one massive train wreck.
Yeah.
Nothing got resurrected here. If anything, it should have been left buried.
Right. Like, I don't know who this is marketed to. Is it marketed to OG Matrix fans? Is it marketed to a new generation? Because I don't feel like it serves either, to be honest.
If it's marketed to newer fans or old school OG fans, I am speaking as part of that group. I am not happy, and I am not impressed. Hence why I'm using the avatar that I'm using. I'm using upset, grumpy ambassador rather than happy, smiling, thoughtful ambassador.
Yeah, so we talked about this earlier. I didn't want to talk a little bit more into detail with Morpheus and Smith in this movie. They're making Morpheus first of all, Morpheus was an agent, and they take an agent and give him the red pill, and now he's a good guy. Which, okay, that's interesting. Turning an agent into a good guy, like, that's an interesting concept to do. But once again, it's just thrown in this movie. You don't see the in-betweens. He's just given the red pill, and then he's good. He's Morpheus now. He's a new incarnation of Morpheus. What?
Yeah, that absolutely made. I'm like, what? He's okay. Is he like a double? The first thing that came across my mind is he like a double agent? Is he like secretly working with? Is he a program that's sympathetic to the humans and he's undercover and they're getting him out or whatever? But no, he is just a plain straight up vanilla agent. Obviously, he's not vanilla. He's not white. But you get my point.
It is weird that he's the only black agent in this movie.
Yeah, that too. I'm like, what was? And I guess they were trying to play off of of his name Morpheus, which is kind of he can be amorphous, he can shift and change and whatever. But I'm still like, yeah, this doesn't work for me. This doesn't make any sense. And the whole fight scene between him and Neo in the little dojo out in the middle of the lake, I'm like, yeah, no. The first fight,
yes,
that first fight between Morpheus and Neo in the first movie was way better than this, and it wasn't so much them trying to beat one another; it was them trying to get Morpheus trying to get Neo to wake up. That was a good interplay between those two characters. In this one, it's just rinse and repeat, and I did not like it.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think that's like the best fight scene in the entire movie is that dojo scene.
Honestly, I agree. That was a good scene. I did like that.
It was okay.
I mean, like I said, it's not great, but it's like that's one of the few scenes in the movie where it's like it wasn't as much shaky cam, and they actually like kept the shot still and didn't have a bunch of quick cuts. But it still wasn't great.
It wasn't
Uh,
amazing. Like it wasn't like on the first level, the first movies level, but it was decent, to say the least.
Don't know what the point of this movie was, and I've seen all of them. This one was so I'm fantastical. The ending really was too much of a swarm thing going on. Messy. Yeah, agree with that.
I cannot to say I disagree with that at all.
Okay, so yeah, it just once again it's just weird that they're making him Morpheus because they're making him so like cool and swagger and all this stuff, and that's not what Morpheus was. He actually had wise things to say. He actually was a role model. He was an influence to Neo, and like this guy, like the first thing he wants to do is beat up Neo in a dojo so he can get him back to his senses. That's not what Morpheus would do.
Nope. Not even
And it's
close.
like, no, and then it's like they don't even want to play into the fact that this is the former agent, so it's like maybe there could have been interesting plot line where like he still has agent tendencies, so he's being more aggressive than he should be. But it's like that's a concept they could have went into, but no, they don't.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then going back to Smith, they should have just waited to get Hugo Weaving if they wanted to bring back Smith, because he wanted to come back as well, but scheduling conflicts, because I think he was working on another project while they were filming this, and it didn't want to wait for him. I'm like, God damn it.
Lame. I mean, Lord, the Hobbit.
Sorry,
They waited. No. I'll just say this real quick. The Hobbit was able to get Hugo Weaving back. Granted, it was for just
right.
like one or two scenes and two movies, but other than that, but still, they were willing to wait. Why couldn't Lana? Why couldn't she wait?
Yeah. You guys remember the first trailer where it ended off with this new Smith and he's talking about, going back to where it all started, back to the Matrix. How cool would it have been, how much people would have freaked out if that ending shot was actually Hugo Weaving instead of this new actor? Like people would have freaked out.
You think?
Yeah.
They've been like, "What the hell's going on? He's not beating the living crap out of Neo. What's this?" That would have actually been like, they would have incentivized people to be like, "Okay, we gotta go see this because I want to know what the hell's going on with Smith." But instead, we've got some random nobody, and I'm not trying to diss the actor, but I'm like, who are you, and why should I care? What have you been in that I would care about? Because right now, you are not impressing me. You're just you're just Diet Smith. You're just new Diet Smith.
Right. When he yelled out, "Mr. Anderson," I'm like, oh nope, not feeling it. Not feeling it.
Actually, I like that scene. It's pretty cool. It was good.
Okay.
I felt it. I felt the anger. I felt it.
I don't think he was necessarily angry. It felt like he was more. He was like more constipated.
Oh damn!
Well, it's kind of like, okay, I don't know if y'all have ever seen like a slowed down version of when more from the first Matrix movie where Morpheus is breaking out of the handcuffs, and somebody has intercut like one of the old Looney Tunes shorts of Bugs Bunny with the opera singer, and they've got the soundtrack of the opera singer just going on and on and on as Morpheus is breaking. It's not like a continuous loop. It is hysterical. But with New Smith, I'm just like, I don't feel a gosh dang thing.
Granted, granted, I don't think it's the actor's fault. I think he is trying his very best, but he's just miscast. It's the bottom line.
don't get me wrong. I am not upset with the cast. They were brought in to do this movie, and they did their very best. But as the saying goes, a turd is still a turd. No matter how much, no matter how much green digital code you overlap onto it.
Um. Okay, so let's talk about I guess we'll talk real quick about Sati because there's not too much to say about her. I'm glad they brought this character back, I guess, even
For like
though
a second.
well she played an important factor when they were bringing back Trinity, you know. Um I'm not a fan of Priyanka Chopra then, though, because she's a really bad actress, but I thought she was fine in this. Um, she looks like the young actress that was in Revolutions. So,
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
does.
yeah, and it's like, her acting wasn't great in Revolution, so I wasn't really expecting a great performance from Priyanka, but at least she was trying a little bit harder this time. Have you guys seen We Can Be Heroes on Netflix?
I have not, but I have heard
No.
interesting things.
I have
It's
never even heard of it.
uh, it's another Robert Rodriguez kids movie, and
Oh
Priyanka
God.
Chopra. Yep, Priyanka's in it, and she's
I love
awful.
I love Robert Rodriguez, but I can't wait for him to do. Isn't he doing? Didn't he do season 1 of Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
he did some
Now
episodes.
that I'm waiting. That I'm waiting for. That I'm waiting for.
yeah, he did
Because
really
Robert
good with
Rodriguez, his episode of Mandalorian season 2, I was like, when the credits came up, directed by Robert Rodriguez, I'm like, I knew there was a reason why this episode was so badass.
Yeah,
And
man.
why Boba Fett was such a freaking beast.
Yes. Robert Rodriguez, like when he's not doing his stupid kitty shit, he's a really good director. And I really liked Alita Battle Angel. It needs a sequel. Do it. If Book of Boba Fett is good, maybe they'll let him do it. But I don't know. But okay, so that's all I gotta say about Sati. I guess we could talk about the Trinity stuff now. So they make her Tiffany in this movie when she's in the Matrix. Her name is Tiffany, and she's a mother of two really bad kids. Like they really did her dirty in the Matrix.
Dirty?
Didn't they?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, DL. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ambassador. Tell us how you feel.
No, I don't want to cut you off, dude. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay, but well, I mean that's personally how I feel, man. They just kind of did her dirty in the Matrix. How they just gave her this life where she doesn't seem to be happy in this marriage, and he has two boys that are really like hard headed and annoying. I did like the chemistry with Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss is still there. Like I think they both still work off each other really good. Oh, you disagree, huh? I thought they were really good in this movie. I thought it was good.
They were okay. I mean, they were more believable in the first 3 movies than they were here. It felt unnecessary for them to be separated. Of course, the whole movie feels unnecessary, to be perfectly candid, but it was just, it was like they deliberately, I mean, they made Tom or Neo somewhat cool because he was a pure programmer. Trinity's just a mom. She isn't like a
But wait, she
globetrotting.
builds motorcycles. She builds motorcycles.
Okay, all right, fine, cool. She builds motorcycles, and I'm just like,
I mean, hey, that's pretty cool. I don't know how to do that.
I'm sorry. If I was writing this movie, and I was writing Trinity, I'd be like, okay, what is Trinity doing now if she's resurrected? She is a globe-trotting archaeologist slash uh, um, motorcycle reconstructor slash video journalist. I'm
That's a
sorry,
lot.
but she can do it. She's Trinity.
Yeah.
She can do three
yeah.
things and do them well because she's Trinity. That's you could
three
even make her.
things. I
You could
like
even
what you
make.
did
You
there.
could even. You could even make her call. You could even make her her call sign or whatever you want to call it. Her internet persona Trinity. Just like in just like in that one that one short from the Animatrix detective story. They could have made her cool and they just made her a frumpy old van mom who builds motorcycles. That makes no freaking sense.
I did like the
How-
scene when the analyst and all the FBI agents were in the room, and he's like, "I'm gonna make you choose between like," and he brings the family in. I'm like, "Oh, you evil son of a bitch! You know what you're doing? It's fucked up. Bringing in the family, it's fucked up."
You
That is fucked
son
up.
of a motherless goat.
Mhm.
To quote Aladdin, hey, Abu, it's not often you see a horse with two rear ends, except the analyst he's nothing but ass. I don't dislike Neil Patrick Harris. I do not dislike the actor. I dislike the character that he portrays. And he is such a monumental anal douchebag. A used douchebag that's been staying out in the sun for a week and stinks to high heaven.
Yeah, but tell us how you really feel.
I just did. I just did not like this guy. I wanted to personally just thunder punch him in the throat every time he tried to say a word. I just wanted to just go, "Oh, you're going to talk now. Okay, thunder punch. Try and talk again. I dare you. I double dog dare you. I triple dog dare you, mother ever. Talk one more gosh dang time."
Yeah, that's what Trinity did at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I know, and I laughed. As I said before, I laughed when she was like, "Oh, you're going to speak. That's cute. I'm going to thunder punch you in the face." There's someplace else I would thunder punch him, or more like thunder kicked him.
I'd say one of my favorite parts of the movie was before she switched to Neo when she was about to walk away with her family, and her husband's like, "Come on, Tiffany," and she's like, "I wish you would stop fucking calling me that."
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, there she is. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Right. So, how did you guys feel that they gave her powers?
I'm honestly cool with it. I was expecting I kind of wanted to see a Neo to fly, to be honest. Like they hyped it up the whole movie. I was like, I love those scenes. Like no matter how cheesy they are in the old movies, I love the flying scenes with Neo. So like I thought he was gonna fly, and then she flew, and I was like, okay, well that kind of makes sense. But I think she's cool. I think she's even more badass than she already was, to be honest.
But here's the cool thing: he can still block bullets, he can redirect missiles, and he's got his Kamehameha attack. So okay, he can't fly, but that's fine because he can still kick ass.
Oh yeah,
he did end up flying by the end of the movie.
And
I think he can probably still fly.
Yeah,
they flew at the end of the movie. They flew at the end of the movie.
I thought that was only true.
Yeah, they actually did, didn't they? Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that was the ending shot.
Yeah, that'll be the last we ever see of him.
Wasn't she carrying him though? I thought she was carrying him.
At the one point, yes, but I think at the very end, where DL's talking about when they leave the analyst's house, I think they're flying separately in that shot.
Okay.
Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris as the analyst. And that sounds so incredibly wrong considering his sexual orientation. And I actually feel just a smidge guilty, but at the same time, I don't.
Yeah.
I've been watching way too
so-
much Three Buck. I've been watching way too much Three Buck Theater.
Yeah, it sounds like you have been.
Hey, there are worse things to watch out there on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Matt, I'm still waiting for my invitation to Hollywood After Dark. I would love to be on the show. I don't know why I haven't been invited already. What's going on?
You'll
but
be waiting until
anyway,
half past sale freeze is over. You can DM
Probably.
him from now until Kingdom Come. He'll probably never see it. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw a little shade at Matt Jarbo because he doesn't follow through. Just saying.
Well, won't get my hopes
Stinking-
up too much.
Stinking smelly West Coast half Canadian douchebag.
Damn.
Matt
Jesus.
Jarbo is the analyst.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, Matt. If you see this on replay, I tease because I love. Well, I don't love you, but I like you. But you get my point. I'm just gonna.
Oh my god.
I don't not love you. Anyway, Trinity, I actually like that they gave her powers at the end. I did say like in the previous streams, like she did. If anyone else was going to be the one, I'm surprised it wasn't her because she did seem just as capable as Neo. So I'm personally glad that they did give her powers. I'm sure there will be a lot of people being like, "Oh God, it's another woke movie. They're giving the women the power again." I'm just like, y'all shut up. Just shut your mouth.
Yes,
This is some
I agree.
bullshit, man.
Woke erections.
Oh, what'd you say?
Woke erections.
Well, corrections. Yeah, man.
Bradley,
I
do you
did-
realize how dirty that sounds?
Yeah, I just realized that. I just realized what it sounds like. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that. But it came out.
the deed
The
is done.
Matrix.
How about Lana
Matrix.
Wachowski? How about that? There you go. It's better.
No,
Oh, wait,
no,
you can't
no.
say that either because they're both trans. They're both trans. You got to be careful.
Oh, yeah, I can say that. Oh, okay.
Well, that's why I put that one comment in the private chat because I didn't want to potentially offend anybody. If
Fuck.
anyone of you even saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
But yeah, I thought it was cool that they gave her powers. And
It was
I did
okay.
like. It was okay. I did kind of once again. I did think was interesting. It wasn't executed as well as I wanted to, but I did think it was interesting that the analyst was using Neo and Trinity to power the Machine City of the Matrix. Like that was interesting. They don't really explain how Trinity has powers. She just does.
Yeah. That just like what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know it's an overlying theme that, that Trinity believed in Neo becoming the one and stuff like that. Like she plays a huge factor with, Neo's destiny, but it's like I don't know, it felt kind of heavy-handed at this point, being like, oh, not only did she play a factor in Neo's destiny, but she also is part of the destiny. She's the one as well. They both, the Adam and Eve, whatever. I just wish they explained how she got powers. It just happens. I don't know. And then the way they get her out of the Matrix is a little bit contrived. So Sachi is gonna use her machine Manta or whatever that thing was to go to Trinity's pod, and she's going to have Trinity sync in at the same time that Bugs does. They're both going to sync at the same time, and when I guess her mind is generated ready, when she believes that she's Trinity, that's when Sati is going to sync Bugs and Trinity at the same time, and while they're doing that, they're going to unplug her out of the tube and then plug her back into the machines that they used to go into the Matrix, and then that's how she's able to free her mind from the Matrix. Okay.
What? I'm what? Wedding the
yeah.
what? That is
Yeah,
got to
that
be the most convoluted thing I've ever heard.
yeah, that was
And
that
I
was
actually
a bit
sat through that
much.
very same scene, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, and as I said, I watched this 3 times, and I'm still like, oh, okay, what? All right. But I guess that's fine. Okay,
You gave it
so
5 more hours than I would have.
yeah, and actually, I didn't reveal this. Actually, the first time another reason why I watched this 3 more times because the first time I watched it, I was dozing off, like like literally like in almost at the 2 hour mark, I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna make it. Okay, I gotta try again another day. I gotta try again, but but yeah, man, that and then I mean the sequence in the streets where that's another interesting concept that they do that the Matrix can just activate programs to become like rogue, I guess, and they fight against the Bugs and the crew and Neo, and then they also turn them into like I don't know. Okay, this is probably in poor taste, but they literally turn them into like suicide bombers at one point.
What?
They literally just they literally make the programs just jump out of windows and crash into Neo and Trinity when they're riding on the motorcycle, like, I think a couple of them exploded as well. Uh,
Jesus.
yeah,
I'm glad I skipped over that part. I've been like, what?
oh yeah, I
Wedding the
forgot you did
what?
skip over that part.
I did because I'm like, okay, I know they're gonna get her out. Let's just skip because I was like, yeah, I'm not giving this movie any more time. Let's just skip over the part where we know they're gonna save Trinity, blah blah blah, and get to the end or whatever. And I'm like, I should have just skipped all the way to the end.
Yeah. The program they just tell not only the program they make the programs like fight against them. Like they're literally when they're riding on the motorcycle. There's a bunch of programs that they are forced to jump out of the window and like projectile themselves towards Neo and Trinity while they're riding on the motorcycle. Like they're like I don't know missiles or something. Like it was crazy.
Well,
And
weren't these
then
actually
they
weren't those actually
huh,
people that were plugged into the Matrix that they were using?
I mean. I don't think so because like I mean it could be they never said they weren't but like I assume that they were programs because like earlier in the movie when they first got Neo out of the Matrix there was like a swarm of programs fighting them on the train and like you
Yeah, but I
instantly
thought the
would assume
people
that they were
were
programs.
I thought they were actually like people that were plugged into the Matrix, not so much programs.
Well, if they are actual people, that's pretty messed up for the machines.
Yeah,
That's pretty
because they're
messed up.
destroying their own power source. I mean, I know they're using primarily Neo and Trinity, but
Yeah. Um, and then the biggest blue ball of this entire movie when Neo and Trinity end up getting on top of a building. And then there's a bunch of helicopters that try to shoot at them. There were some cool shots like Bradley brought up earlier that he's able to deflect missiles and stuff like that and like make them you know make them shoot to other helicopters. That was cool, and deflecting bullets. That's cool. And then the reveal that Trinity can fly. That was very lackluster. So they hold hands, they jump off the building, and then Neo's trying to fly and it doesn't work. But then Trinity is floating and is holding on to Neo, and that's the big reveal of him flying. I expected something a little more triumphant, a little more cinematic than that. I mean, if you don't want to have Neo fly, that's fine. I mean, that was kind of a cop out when he first tried to fly, and like it had like the force field around him, like in the previous 2 movies, and then it doesn't work, and he's like, "Oh, that's not happening." I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, whatever." But like the reveal that Trinity can fly, and that's it. They're just floating in the midair, and that's it. Like, there's no music, there's no cinematic shot. It's just them floating in midair, and then they fly away, and then cut to later. And then cut to them getting out of the Matrix. That's it. That was your big climactic battle.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Like,
Well, quite frankly, there was no big climactic battle. They just went to the analyst's house and beat the crap out of him and then left.
And then another big thing of mine. Barely got to see the fucking Sentinels. I got to see like one Sentinel, and that was it.
well, there was
Come
a swarm
on.
of Sentinels. There was a swarm of Sentinels in a couple of shots. But you're right.
But-
there wasn't a lot of Sentinels in this.
It was cool, like seeing them with like updated CGI and stuff. Like it looks great. Like that was like probably the biggest highlight for me. Was like, oh, Sentinels, hell yeah.
Yeah. A little nitpick, I guess. I expected the machines to like upgrade a little bit more than Sentinels. Like, I mean, the Sentinels are
still look the
cool,
same.
but it's like, yeah, it's been 60 years and the machines are still Sentinels. Like, don't they have more advanced designs at this point? I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm nitpicking again. I mean,
They
because
can reboot the Matrix, but
they can reboot the Matrix, but they can't like redesign the machines in the real world.
yeah.
I mean, there were those cutesy machines that was working with the humans, so we haven't seen those designs before. But
Oh
like,
god.
they even gave them names. They gave them names.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Like they
They
were
had like
pets.
these little faces too. I was like, oh god. But like I do like the concept like of the evolution of the relationship with machines, you know, I do like that. It's really interesting, but like it's
Yeah,
fucking
that-
weird. Like it makes sense for like the story of the Matrix, but it just doesn't fit right. Like it doesn't fit like with the design of the. And I understand like Ambassador brought up a good point. Like it's to differentiate like the evil ones from the bad ones and stuff. And that totally makes sense. But like it just something feels off about it, to be honest.
Everything feels off. This
Yeah.
movie should not exist.
Dang, what was I gonna say? Okay, so let's talk about the very ending when Trinity and Neo, they are confronting the analyst, and they're like, we're gonna remake your world, and we have new powers now, so you better watch out. And they literally just end the movie like that. Okay, so first of all, this is something that I was questioning in the previous two movies. They make Neo and now Trinity so powerful. What is going to be the threat in part if they make more after this? Like, since they're able to they're that powerful, is there even going to be a threat that's going to match them? Like, are they going to resort to hand-to-hand combat again, even though we know they're above that? Like, what are they going to do?
No idea.
They're gonna create Mega Smith.
Oh
Oh
god.
no! Oh no!
Mega Smith has gone from suck to blow. And if you get that reference, you get a gold star and a cookie.
How nuts would it be if they actually tried? If you guys played the Path of Neo, when they did the kaiju monster of Agent Smith, that's going to be the threat.
Oh god. It's gonna be Warner Brothers. So.
And just to clarify, that reference is from Spaceballs, but the line actually is Mega Maid has gone from suck to blow. If you've ever seen Spaceballs.
Of
yeah.
course, who hasn't seen Spaceballs? man?
Okay.
But I
all
think
right.
someone said this on Twitter, and I think it best describes this movie. The real villain of this movie is Warner Brothers. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's like we could blame the Wachowskis, but they didn't want to do this. They didn't want to.
No, yeah. That's why only one of them did it, and the other one was like, "Hell no."
Do you
Right.
get the feeling
And it's
that
like,
maybe this movie was just a giant fu from the Wachowskis to Warner Brothers? Maybe.
I think
honestly,
yeah,
this
like honestly, yeah. I think
I
they were
mean,
like,
think
you want
about
to
it.
make us do this? We're gonna put in some jabs. Like I would if I were them.
Well,
I
not
totally
just
would.
jabs, but make the movie so incredibly cringy and bad that it would just
Yeah,
be repellent to anybody that's went and saw it. I
I
mean,
would
yeah,
too.
Go ahead.
I was agree with you. This literally did feel like a vanity project for Lana, being like, "Oh, you're gonna make me do this? All right, I'm gonna do it my way, and I'm gonna throw shots at you, and you can't do anything about it because you want money. You want another Matrix film, and you're gonna let me do whatever I want. And you know for a fact that if I wasn't doing this movie, the cast would not come back. You know for damn certain
Yep.
if Wachowski wasn't doing this movie, I don't think Keanu would have came back. I don't think
Nope.
Carrie-Anne Moss would have came back. I don't think
Nope.
Jada Pinkett Smith would have came back. So
Nope.
you're stuck with me.
I'm just a mean, crotchety trans lady, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. I mean, because by
But
this
yeah,
point, aren't the Wachowskis like they're old now? I mean, they're like in what, their 50s or so, maybe
yeah, 50s. I think late 50s.
maybe 60s. I
Wow,
don't
it
know.
doesn't even
Maybe.
feel like they are.
Let me look up their age right quick.
I mean, I know they're not like super old, but I know they're not young either. Because I think they were like in their 20s or so.
Lana
Dale.
is 50. Lana's 56, and then
Oh, excuse me.
Lily is yeah, also 56. So they're both.
Well, yeah, because aren't they twins?
Oh wait, no. Oh wait, no. Lily's 53. Lana's 56.
Okay, so 3 years apart. So. Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just.
So I guess I'll leave the question to you guys, even though I probably know what the answer is. If for some miracle they decide to greenlit another movie after this, would you guys be somewhat interested in seeing it?
Oh god. To be honest, because it's pretty obvious. Like, if they brought him back for another movie, they want a trilogy. Like, they want another do a trilogy. It's pretty obvious. This movie kind of sets it up too. Like, if they were to do it, but if I'm being real, the realist in me, like, she didn't even want to do the movie. She almost didn't even finish the script. And the only really reason she did it was because it was an outlet to help her grieve over her family's loss. You know, I think her mother and father passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And bringing those characters back to life kind of helped her cope throughout that, which is why I like the sentiment that this movie has, is these characters helped someone grieve. And that's what I liked about the Animatrix too, is because there was some messages in there. There wasn't just messages about the Matrix and the story that they created. It was a story. There was messages about like our world. Like, there was a suicides one in there that I was like, I love this.
Good
like,
story. Yeah.
it's a message to, like, you know, get awareness and help people and stuff, which I really enjoyed. And that's what I think I love about the Wachowskis the most, is that they put that into the Matrix. But honestly, yeah, like I said, like, the realist in me doesn't see them doing it, to be honest. Like, I don't think she'll come back whatsoever. If, you know, maybe I might be wrong, but it's pretty obvious they're going to. If they do end up doing it, I won't be surprised, but I don't know if she will, to be honest.
Well, my 2 cents on this, I might have been just a smidgen harsh because I didn't know about their parents dying. So they do have my utmost sympathy on that front. Anything, I will never mock anybody who's having to deal with the loss of a parent, regardless of their age. Never. If this helped them grieve, if it helped them mourn, okay, great. But as in terms just purely as a movie, as a work of fiction and continuation of a franchise that I really do enjoy, the movie's just not good, and I don't think financially it's going to be even remotely profitable. They'll be Warner Brothers will be lucky if this thing breaks even.
Yeah.
They'll be lucky if it breaks even. And no, I don't. I would not even be remotely interested if another installment's done. I won't even watch this on HBO Max. I'll let it pass. I mean, I'm honestly not gonna watch this again. I have no interest to watch this again.
Okay.
Now maybe as a lark, as like for a bad movie night or a drinking game. But there ain't enough booze or enough weed in the world, even though I don't smoke it and anything, that would make me want to watch this movie again, much less watch a follow up.
I'm kind of with you. Like I'm very skeptical on if they do something, what they'll do next. But I'll be real. I'll watch it just to see where it goes. That's really the only thing I'll do. I just want to see where it goes, even if it's bad. Like I'll watch it, but I have no hopes. I have no expectations for anything after this if they do happen to do something.
Honestly, like I'm in a similar boat. Like if they somehow continued after this, I would still watch it because I did say there are really interesting concepts that they introduced in this movie that I want to see explored in future installments. But that being said, if they do decide to do more from this, which I think is very unlikely at this point, because as you said, financially it's not doing very well, and critically, it's even worse. But here's a hot take for everyone. I know people aren't going to agree with this, but I think this needs to be done. If they're going to make more Matrix films, the Wachowskis need to stop directing. They need to stop. Need to stop. Like they can write. They can. Well, I don't know about the writing. That's another thing. But
yes, they can write because they have written some really good movies. I mean, helped write the script for V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta is, I think, one of their better projects that they did post Matrix, honestly, and I think they did produce on it as well. So they can write if they're invested in it in the project. But I don't think, honestly, Lana was. I don't think she was fully invested in this. I think she did this because she was under the gun to do it. I think because she was under some sort of legal or contractual obligation to do it. But aside from that, I don't want to see them come back to this franchise. Let them do something else, or let them just retire if they decide to retire, or go do something else entirely. I mean, they're obviously very creative and very imaginative people. They created the whole concept of the Matrix, which in itself is nothing short of is amazing. But as far as them being a part of this world any further, or this world continuing, or this franchise continuing on any further, I just say, no. Just stop here. Do not pass go. Do not collect your $100.
I mean, to be honest, like it's hard for me to completely abandon this franchise because of how much potential that it has, and I personally feel like there could be other directors that can take helm with this franchise and bring something new to the table. Because I know the Wachowskis are the one that created this world. I understand that, but like they're tainted at this point. I don't trust them as filmmakers anymore. Like this is my last straw with them. Even though I don't hate the movie as much as you, I don't dislike the movie as much as you do, but it's like, it's clear that they've run their course. I don't want to see them direct another movie again. It is. I really hate to say that, but it's like, I don't trust them. They don't feel fresh anymore, and now this franchise has suffered because of that. So it's like I'm okay with them writing and producing or whatever if they still want to be involved, but it's like I would prefer them to just get other filmmakers to do it. But if the actors are committed to the Wachowskis and they don't want anyone else, then yeah, just let the franchise die at this point.
Well,
or
I don't
do
even
another
think
reboot. Do another reboot.
I don't think the Wachowskis would even let them do it without them. That's my thing too.
Yeah, because the Matrix is quite literally their baby. It's like,
yeah, it's their baby.
They would have to buy the rights away from the Wachowskis, and I don't think the Wachowskis have a price that they would sell it at, honestly.
Yeah, no.
I don't. I mean, I just don't. I mean, this is something that's dear to them. Now, yeah, I know there is the precedent of Lucas selling Lucasfilm and everything else along with it, lock, stock, and barrel, but that was a different situation altogether. This is as well a different situation altogether. And again, I don't hate this film. I don't hate anybody that was involved with this film. I just feel that this film was wholly and completely unnecessary. It's like I said, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I want the trailers got me excited. I was excited to return to this world. And now that I have, I'm like, I don't want to go any further. It's not anger or anything. It's more so disappointment.
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, we're gonna go to closing thoughts and grades now, because I think that's it. Said everything that I wanted to say about this movie. Overall, I don't think it's awful. From a filmmaking standpoint, as a movie by itself, this is not the worst film ever. It's competently made, but
It's the worst
we are
Matrix.
I don't even know if I can say that right now because I'm still very conflicted on, aspects of the movie. Like, there are so many interesting, creative ideas in this film. I didn't hate the act. The actors were giving it their all, and it's great to see Keanu and Carrie Ann Moss and Jada Pinkett back again. But this movie just felt like a giant vanity project for Lana to be like, "Fuck you, Warner Brothers. I never wanted to come back to this franchise, and you guys expected me to do something better than what I already done. You guys want me to do the same old shit. You guys want me to do bullet time. I'm not giving it to you. I'm gonna make fun of the franchise, and you just gonna sit there and watch. That's what it feels like. And now we're just stuck in this little void of like, I think the franchise is going to be dead at this point. It's going to be another Terminator Dark Fate. You just killed the franchise again. And now I don't want to see another film from the Wachowskis again. I don't want to see another Wachowski film. If they ever make another one, I don't trust them. They have not made a good movie since the first Matrix. And even with the sequels that he made to the Matrix, still do not live to the expectations of the first film. And it's very sad because this concept of the world is very simple to do, and they just fucked it up. I'm sorry. They become George Lucas. They become J.K. Rowling. I feel so sorry for their loss in the family. I don't wish that on anybody, and I hope that they handle their loss well. I wish the best for their family, but as far as them doing another movie, I don't want to see it again. This movie had so much potential, it squandered it. The action sequences weren't as inspired. The plot is all over the place. The pacing is so slow. The movie was so long for no reason. I'm just really frustrated, but at the same time, I don't hate it because it's really cool concepts that they do. The actors are really good, so it's like I would have to give it a really, really, really low, just okay. Really low, just okay.
What out of 10?
1 out of 10? Oh god.
No, I was asking, what do you give it out of 10?
Oh, out of 10. 5.
Huh. Wow, that's 2 more than I gave it. I gave it 7.
A 5 or 6 out of 10. This is why I don't do numbers though, because I'm not really fully sure. Because
numbers are easy. Numbers are quantifiable. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Because everyone determines it differently.
Not really.
I mean, I guess
numbers are a good metric.
I guess I would give it 6.9 because if I were looking at like the Reloaded and Revolutions, if I gave them a number grade, it probably would be a 7. But, yeah, so I guess it might be 6.9. But yeah, my grade it's a low, just okay. It's not trash, but it's
You all are far more forgiving than I am.
Well, go ahead, tell us your closing thoughts and grade.
Well, I've kind of given my closing thoughts already, but I'll give you my grade.
Right.
This movie is so bad it cannot be quantified by a real number. It is that bad. If I was to try and come up with a real number, negative 99 trillion
Oh God.
is how abominably bad this movie is. It's not even on the positive side of zero. It is as far away from zero as you can get. It is negative 99 quintillion. And yes, that is a real number. Quintillion is a real number. Negative 99 quintillion. It is just that horrendously bad.
All right, Bradley.
Yeah, like I said, I give it a 7. I am going to rewatch it though. Maybe that'll change. I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually anticipating that to get lower, to be honest, because I'm shocked that DL has it lower than me, because I didn't like it that much. But yeah, overall, it's a mediocre movie. I'm probably not going to rewatch it. If anything, I'm going to rewatch Reloaded. Or the first one, Revolutions, not so much, but I'm standing by the statement. I don't care if I get heat for it, but Revolutions is 10 times better than this movie. Like, I think people...
I'll agree with you on that one.
And a little side note, too, I think people just shit on the other two movies way too much. They're not terrible.
Yes.
They're not
They're
great.
not terrible.
But, like, they're not on the level of trash. Like, none of them are. Like, the whole franchise is great, except for this one. But all three of them are good. I just think people take it too seriously and are too harsh on the other two movies. But yeah, it's a 7. Probably not going to watch again after I rewatch it. But yeah, I'm not buying it physically.
No,
I'm good.
Nope.
So
I'm
here's the thing.
right there with
So here's the thing. I own the previous movies. I feel like I need to complete the collection.
Nope. No, you don't.
I am the same way, but when it comes to like the bad movies of a franchise, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. It'll be back on HBO.
Here's the thing for me. And speaking of movies, a series of movies with bad installments. Even as much as I hate these two movies, we do have copies of Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi. But here's the thing. I didn't even buy Last Jedi firsthand. I bought it secondhand because I refused to give money to the directly to Disney, because I'm like, you have fractured and hurt my childhood, and you are not getting you're not getting any money from the purchase of this film directly. I will give it to a small business first before I give it to you. That's how much and believe me, if I could find a copy of The Last Jedi just to like burn and smash and just utterly destroy into a million tiny pieces, oh, believe me, I would do it. And I would do it with a big, big smile on my face.
You know what's weird? I own the entire sequel trilogy, but I don't own any of the originals or prequels. I refuse.
You are not a fan.
It's too much money.
You are not a fan.
No, because everywhere I go, I go, they're like $29 for the Blu-ray.
Nope.
I'm just like, that's ridiculous. Like, this
You
movie's
are
like
not
20 years old. I'm not buying a $29 20-year-old movie. What the fuck?
Wait, how much was the sequel trilogy? How much was the sequel trilogy?
Same
Too
price, but you know.
Too much. Entirely too much.
Well, you might as well put your money down for the other ones too, since you
I
bought
don't
the
know.
sequel trilogy.
That's like $260 right there. Fuck.
No, it isn't. You can get them cheap. You just gotta know where
I'll
to look.
buy the box set. I'll buy the box set.
Sure, that's fine. Box set.
I used to own the VHSs of the originals, though. That's how I was raised on them. Those are the best ones. The best copies.
I think the DVD transfers of the non-specialized are pretty good.
Those are good too. I do like those versions.
I actually have those because I'm a real fan. Unlike you.
I need to get those. Wow.
Good luck.
I mean,
Good luck.
yeah, I like-
Good luck. They are incredibly hard to find, and just know this, Riley. I tease. I
No, I know.
it's okay because I'm fine with the special editions. I'm thinking
No,
completely fine.
DL.
I
No.
am
I have the
100%
special
fine
edition.
with them.
I have the special editions. I like the special editions. They're good. That was actually my first opportunity to see the original trilogy in theaters all the way through.
You know what they should do? They should go back and fucking revise the entire prequel trilogy instead of focusing on the originals. Because there's some shit they need to change in those prequels that are more dated than the actual original trilogy. So
That's
dated.
very true.
Jar Jar,
Yeah.
they need to erase that.
Yes,
They can't erase Jar
that
Jar,
I will
especially
agree
for
with
the
you on. I will wholeheartedly and enthusiastically agree with you on that one. Jar Jar does not need to exist. Erase him from existence. Why couldn't Thanos snap him out of existence? Why couldn't he get turned into ash and never be brought back? Okay,
You can't snap him out of existence because even Dave Filoni was like, "Yeah, we'll keep him."
yeah,
with the Clone Wars and stuff.
Yeah, well, thankfully there weren't that many episodes that focused on that were focused around Jar Jar or even had Jar Jar in them, because I think even everybody knew we do too many episodes with Jar Jar, people are going to have post Bing syndrome.
They probably had some low ratings, those episodes. They're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't. Because I remember they had a few episodes, I think, when Jar Jar is like, when like Palpatine makes him head of the council for a while. I think he's back in it for a minute. There's a few other episodes that I can't think of right away, but they're probably like, yeah, we have some low ratings. We got to shut this down.
Jar Jar bad. People have trauma.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Anyway.
George Lucas.
Yep. Thank you, George Lucas. Thank you, J.K. Rowling, and thank you, Wachowskis, for ruining our childhood. Anyway, that is our thoughts. Say it again.
Oh, that's not important. Go ahead, Tio.
Okay, anyway, that is our thoughts on the Matrix Resurrections. What do you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below and let us know. Thank you guys for watching all of our Matrix live streams. I hope you guys enjoyed all of them. Don't know if we'll ever revisit them in the future because we don't know if this franchise is going to continue after this. So, but yeah, thank you for watching. And I want to thank Bradley and Ambassador for joining with me in this very awesome conversation. Yeah. If you guys enjoyed this, as always, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified of future videos I'll be doing. Don't forget to check out Bradley's channel, Compatible Cinema and Gaming, and also follow Ambassador's social media as well. But that's all we have for you Matrix fans, and we will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. And remember, I still know Kung Fu!